You know, the All-Star games have changed. At one time they were very competitive. Now they're almost like a playground game. So I don't really enjoy watching them as much as I did before. But I think it really is a celebration of where the NBA has come. And, you know, they do everything to pull out all the stops to make it a big party so everyone can enjoy the enormous players we have in our league today, the athleticism, which is so prominent in our league, and hopefully give a chance to young fans to get up close and personal to see some of these people who they watch on TV, they idolize, and maybe someday hope to emulate, which is probably not going to happen. But it's a special week, and I think for the players and the ones that don't participate, the ones who are injured, for the coaches, just getting away for a couple of days is really probably very, very good for them.
What do you remember about that '64 All-Star game? I think there's a lot of uncertainty heading in with just some labor issues going on. What are your reflections with that?
I remember very well sitting in the locker room of Boston Garden. I think it was the first game was ever going to be televised on national TV, and you know, the players were we were controlled by the owners. I think all of us felt like we were slaves in the sense that we had no rights. And I'll never forget the owner of the Lakers, Bob Short, Elgin Baylor, and I sitting in the locker room. He came to two of us and he says, you know, you're not going to play anymore if you don't play in this game. And again, I had just started my career, so I was young and just trying to feel my way along and build a career for myself. And he said to us very threateningly that if you don't play in this game, you're probably never going to play again. And I said, well, I'm never going to play a game. And I am pretty defiant, okay? I don't say pretty, I'm defiant. And I think how I grew up made me that way. If I see a wrong that needs corrected, regardless if it's not popular, if I can help somebody, I'm willing to do that. And I look at the players today and, you know, where they are today. And, you know, people always talk about this guy's overpaid, that guy's overpaid. Well, the reason they're overpaid is because owners choose to overpay them.
Right.
And every owner wants to win, and sometimes choices made in terms of contracts are not always the best. But it's really about competition. But I'm very happy for the players. I think a lot of ex-players are kind of bitter that, you know, they didn't have a chance to make this monopoly money that players have today.
Right.
And no one made anything then. You had to work in the summer. So. It was the stone ages of basketball, but to watch it where it is today, it's really gratifying to me.
You coming from a unique perspective with being a player and also a GM, what's your overall take with just this upcoming collective bargaining agreement in terms of the issues and just your overall perspective?
Well, you know, as I say, an owner doesn't have to pay a player, period. He does not have to pay him. If he doesn't want to pay him these outlandish salaries, he has to look in the mirror himself. And I think the NBA expanded so fast, everything looks so great, and the franchises are appreciating in value. All along the ways, I think there's some fundamental principles, and I don't care how wealthy you are or how much money you have, an owner has a right to make a profit. And there's enormous losses in some of these teams, and only the big markets can make money, and particularly with the kind of investments they put into these things. But again, I don't blame the players, but this system is broken. It needs to be fixed. If there's bloodletting, let it be, because this should be about the fans and their ability to go out and watch a game, but more importantly, to be able to afford to go see a game. That's why television and all the cable stuff we have today is so important, because the average fan can't afford to go to games now. Right. And I think when you price them out, you're missing something very special to give a kid an opportunity to go see a game, and the prices are just frankly outrageous today.
Right. There's been a few proposals, maybe contraction among them, hard cap. What would you think would be the solution?
Well, I think the solution, if I were a player, I'd look at it and say, well, I don't want to change it because selfishly, I've got the best of it, and the owners have the worst of it. But in reality, if people are going to be partners, you have to be partners of something that's healthy. If something is not healthy, then it's certainly not going to continue. And if I were the owners, I would take a very difficult stand this time. I really would take a difficult stand. Because, again, you want a healthy league. And I look at, the NFL, every team makes money, and now they're quibbling over money, but they have enormous television revenues and cable revenues where the NBA doesn't have that. And so if you're playing in smaller markets where you're playing 41 games, how many times can people afford to go see those games, even in smaller markets? So there has to be a different model that gives every team a chance to have an equal playing field where they can compete. And if not, you're going to have 6 or 7 teams. I watch TV today, particularly. I still watch the games a lot. And I watch some of these teams that haven't had much success and watch the crowds there. If I'm an owner, I'm saying to myself, what can I do? And there's not much you can do in a small town that doesn't have the economic clout of some of these bigger markets.
Back to the AllStar Game, another highlight of yours, 1972. You got the MVP and you hit a game winner. What do you remember about that game?
Well, I don't remember very much of anything about my basketball career. I do remember that with the last second shot and the score was tied, and I made a shot that won the game, and it was part of a very special year for us, not because of that, but in fact we did win the only championship that I participated on with the team, with the players I played with. So that year, little did I know, would hold a lot of memories for me, but particularly winning a championship.
Now,